All right, this is very loud. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Greg Robinson. I am with the Brentwood Press, the publisher, and very happy to be here today to have our Brentwood City Council candidate forum. This is co-sponsored by the Brentwood Press and the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce. So thank you. We also want to thank Heritage High School and Liberty Union School District for allowing us to use this facility. Just some kind of housekeeping things. One is, just as I had to remember to turn off my cell phone ringer. So please turn off your ringers, put on silent, vibrate. It's courtesy for everybody to do that. I guess filming is allowed. Often you come to the theater and say, no cameras, no filming. Film away, we don't care. We are doing Facebook Live streaming, so hopefully that'll be working and that you'll be able to see that. So with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Tom Santamarino, who is the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce President, who also want to welcome you, and he'll introduce Faye.
Well, thank you, Greg. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're excited about this. We do this every other year, and Chamber co-sponsors it with the press, and what do they call our candidates for joining us and reaching out to the community. And I'm excited about it. I'm sure you all have great ideas that you want to share with us, and you all decide what resonates with you. So I'm going to pass the mic to our moderator, Faye Maloney, and take it over.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Faye Maloney, and I'm really honored to be here with all of you today, collaborating with the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce and the press to bring this candidate forum to all of you. Thank you all for being with us, and thank you to all of our candidates for being here today and taking a step forward to serve our community. So thank you. Please give a hand to our candidates. All right, we're going to get started. So I'd like to start with just setting some ground rules before we begin. We're asking our audience to refrain from applauding or in other ways demonstrating support or non-support for a candidate. It should be noted none of these questions were provided in advance to any of our candidates. And next to our candidates, candidates will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement that will begin alphabetically starting here. And they will also be given 2 minutes for a closing statement that will rotate in reverse direction. So we'll start from Holly for the closing statement. And candidates will be asked the same question and have the time to answer, about 1.5 minutes. That's what you will have, 1.5 minutes to answer each question. If you need me to repeat the question, please let me know. The questions will be asked in rotation, and the time limits on responses will be strictly observed, and you're going to have Julie with the time signal right there, if you want to look at her. Everybody can see her okay? Yes. All right, perfect. Our timekeeper will hold the cards visible to all of you, indicating how much time will remain. We'll have a 30-second sign, a 15-second sign, and when the stop card is shown, if the candidate can please stop their speech within 5 seconds, and I will direct you to stop then. All right. Candidates will not interrupt one another. Candidates shall refrain from personal attacks or accusations. Answers should remain focused on relevant policy topics. And now we're going to begin our questions. We'll start with Mark Duke. Are we ready? All right. Yes. We're going to start with you. If you could give your opening statement. 2 minutes.
Well, my name is Mark Duke. Thank you, Brentwood Press and Chamber of Commerce, for putting this on, and everyone who's here today. I've been in Brentwood for almost 15 years. We planted a church. And our main goal was to make a difference in people's lives, to make a purpose and help them find their purpose. And, this could have been a political opening, but I want to make a human opening. One of the reasons I'm not running is to make myself known, to make myself popular, to make myself, have influence. I know there's influence within the city when you're in city council, but I became a pastor and I started the church because we wanted to see people fulfill the destiny. So when you have people who are happy, people who are finding a purpose in a city, it makes a great city. It makes great business owners, it makes great families, it makes great community and friends. And so I want to see Brentwood grow. I want to see it continue to flourish. I want to see people want to live here and move here and not move out. And so this has continued keeping Brentwood the way it is, and let's make Brentwood great. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could pass the microphone to Braden, please. Braden, you have 2 minutes.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Braden Hyena. I'm a candidate for City Council. We moved to Brentwood about 13 years ago. My mom and my dad brought us here because Brentwood was a safe, family-friendly place to live. She knew she could raise her kids here and not have to worry about sending them to school and having to deal with gang violence or drugs or whatever that may look like. So what I'm running for is I have these set of views and beliefs and ideas. Nobody's going to fight for them for me, so I figure I'd fight for them myself. I want to maintain Brentwood's reputation for being the great city that it has been all these years. Continue growing because what we see in other cities is if there's no growth, then the city dies, the city collapses. So we need smart growth, pushing Brentwood forward for future generations, keeping it a safe and prosperous city, improving transportation for our residents, bringing in new businesses, high quality paying jobs to Brentwood, and just engaging with the residents and what they really want, rather than a small margin of people trying to tell people what everybody else wants. So I'm Braden Hyena, and I ask for your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, Braden.
Hello everyone, my name is Patricia Davis Pearson, and I'm a resident of Brentwood. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I think this is an amazing opportunity for everyone to get to know who we all are and who you're going to vote for on November 8th. So, one of the main things is why should you vote for me? Why am I even doing this? I'm originally from Oakland, California, born and raised. I've had the opportunity to be so blessed to move around the world, around the country, which the world, but around the United States. But something always brought me back home to California. And one of the reasons why I'm here, I've been in Brentwood for about 5 years. And one of the reasons why I'm here is because I have family. I have 4 children, a lovely husband, Michael, who's in the audience today, my mom, and family. And what was important to me was that my children had a place like Brentwood to grow up in. One of the big examples, I'm sitting next to Braden Hyena, who is an 18-year-old phenomenal young man who is running for city council. And I can only pray that my children grow up to be the same way, right? And they can, right here in the city of Brentwood. So for me, I'm asking you to vote for me because, one, I am an attorney. I sit as a pro tem judge. I'm already doing community work in the city. And I see a lot of things that we have a phenomenal city, but I see a lot of things that we can continue to do and grow. Yes, you'll hear us all talk about smart growth, public safety, and economic development. And all of those things are really big for me, but I really want to fortify what I've came to find here, and that is the great nature, small town community, and that we keep that going and alive, and that I appreciate about Brentwood. So on November 8th, please vote for me. I think I'll do a phenomenal job, for a better Brentwood, a better candidate. That's me, Patricia Pearson.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I'm not used to it. Who am I? Since I have 2 minutes, 3 minutes? 2 minutes. I can tell a quick story. It's very important and very unreal for me to be here tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. This is the place where I started my community involvement in 2010 when I met, where is she? Kathy Griffin, to pick up a stack of flyers for Measure F. So it sounds to me and it looks to me, it goes full circle. So here I am. She was an inspiration for me. She's a great community leader that fought for the city and taught us all to do the same and follow her lead. So I'm very grateful for having the opportunity to have her as my mentor and growing as a community member. I'm and serve my community. I want to be the voice of our residents and allow them to vote that reflects their needs and wants. I'm running on a platform of respecting the general plan, issues around land use, economic development, well-paying local jobs, financial responsibility and accountability. And the final goal, ultimate goal, is to keep Brentwood a desirable place to live with a small town feel and exceptional quality of life. Thank you.
Moving on to District 4. Tony?
Good evening. My name is Tony Orleans. I'm a candidate for District 4 City Council. I came to Brentwood for the first time probably 30 years ago as a young kid coming into town with my very young kids to go to cherry picking, go to high school football games, and I fell in love with the city of Brentwood. I fell in love with Brentwood the way it was, going to Corn Fest, enjoying those gatherings with family. I moved into Brentwood 17 years ago. I've worked as a sergeant of police here with the city of Brentwood, and I've recently retired out of CalPERS, and I'm now a police officer over in the city of San Francisco. Reason I'm running for city council is it's pretty simple. I'm a public safety person, and I always will be. I have always served my community. 34 years in law enforcement, 5 years in the United States Army active duty. I'm a server. I serve the community. I take care of who I can, and I want to make and keep Brentwood a safe community. I have a granddaughter growing up in Brentwood. My son-in-law is a police officer. My son-in-law is a police officer in Brentwood. I couldn't be more excited about the new chief we have here in Brentwood to help run this city and take it to the next level. So if you haven't got the gist of it yet, I'm a public safety person and I always will be. It's not only law enforcement, it's the fire department and the paramedics that are going to keep us safe and let us live a long, long, wonderful life here in Brentwood. Again, my name is Tony Orleans, City Council, District 4.
Thank you. Holly?
Hi, my name is Holly Bishop Lopez. I'm the candidate for District 4 City Council. I grew up in Brentwood, and I'm running because I love our city. I believe, I've seen the city grow and change, but its heart remains the same. I believe that I can bring a perspective to council and a voice of reason as well. I am a mother, and another reason that I'm running is I want to make sure our youth has what it needs to succeed and prosper and grow in life. I know a lot of people have seen me at school board meetings, fighting for our children, allowing for choice, and also people's choice. So I held the Freedom Rally last year. I'm holding it again this year. As well as, I know a lot of people have seen my videos on the water, so I'm heavy on the water. So backstory is the state stopped testing for chromium-6, and that's a major concern. They're supposed to tell us what our levels are, and they haven't. And so I want to make sure that our residents have at least safe drinking water. I just have to say I fell in love with this city. My family, they've grown and they started a trucking business. I'm with the farmers. I mean, I just have to say that I'm proud of where the city's become, and I really want to be a part of that. So safety, smart growth, all of the above. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. So our last candidate from District 4, Jacob Singh, could not be with us today, and Greg's going to play a short clip from him.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Jacob Singh, and aloha from Hawaii as I'm celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary. This is the only possible talk to you directly, and thank you, Tony and Holly, for being here in person. I wish you all the best. Tony, thank you for the service that you've given to the community with the Brentwood Police Department. Folks, tonight we're going to hear a lot of reasons why we all decided to run for the city council. And believe me, there's not a right answer, there's not a wrong answer, because every reason given to you will be voice. And thank you, Tony and Holly, for being here in person. I wish you all the best. Tony, thank you for the service that you've given to the community with the Brentwood Police Department. Folks, tonight we're going to hear a lot of reasons why we all decided to run for the city council. And believe me, there's not a right answer, there's not a wrong answer, because every reason given to you will be more personalized experience from where it's coming from. 28 years ago, when I came to this country with $428 in my pocket, the only difference between my motherland and my homeland was the opportunities created for me, for my family, and for my kids. We need to go back to the basics. We need to create opportunity for our families and for our kids, so they can thrive in an environment where they can call it home. We can exchange things and have a smart growth. We cannot overload on our current resources anymore. It's going to break down. You know, when the summers are at 120 degrees, PG&E says, hey, it's overloaded, so we have to shut everything down. Folks, a day will come when our resources over here in the community will be overloaded if we continue on the same path. We need solutions. We need.
Thank you.
Sorry, everybody.
All right. We will start our first question with Mark. What is your vision of Brentwood for the next 10 years, and what steps will you take on the city council to make that vision come true? You have a minute and 30 seconds.
10 years. I'm only being elected for 4 years. You know, when I first thought about running for Brentwood, we saw the vision Brentwood had. We saw the expansion. We saw the general plan of the build out, and we thought it was very thought out. Brentwood City Council, the Brentwood City, has really done a good job of building out what they planned, and there's still a lot to be built out. There's still a lot of things and developments and visions that we have with bringing jobs in and bringing people in to live here and bringing good transportation and infrastructure. But I see when it comes to our general plan, and we have a lot of state laws that we have to go by, I think let's just come to the city, because we have some very smart people who work for the city, who get hired in to run these very skilled positions. And as city council, we are here to work with them. We're not here to decide. I don't want to tell them how to do the job, because I don't know how to be a architect. I don't know how to be a city manager, but I do know how to think and listen, and hopefully I can give my own good vision for what's next for Brentwood. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question. What is your vision of Brentwood for the next 10 years, and what steps will you take on the city council to make that vision come true?
Well, vision, I've got the vision of continuing to grow the city. We've got so many projects and plans in place right now that would be so beneficial to the city. You take a look at PA1, I think that's great for the city. It brings in great jobs. It brings in high quality paying jobs and keeps people in our city. I think what we can do as a city to move forward is, improve our public safety. I believe the Brentwood Police Department should be fully fully funded and fully staffed 100%. How can we attract officers to join the force? We can offer a sign-on bonus or certain incentives as we once did before. We don't want our city to turn to Antioch. Let's be real here. We've got visions and plans on the council right now that are not being seen through. And some people just nitpick and don't follow through and don't listen to what the people want. And I think that's very scary and dangerous with the direction that's going. So what we need to do is we all need to come together. We need to, increase high-paying quality jobs. We need this Route 239 is a big plan that I want to bring. It brings in more traffic to the city and boosts the revenue in the city. The truckers will stay at our hotels and shop at our businesses and keep the revenue inside the city of Brentwood, which is, I think, what we really need.
Thank you.
Same question?
Same question.
I got you. All right. So for me, my vision is that which aligns with what the voters wanted. That's my vision. Also aligning with what those council members did back in July of 2014 when they established the 7 guiding principles of our general plan. I'm a believer to stick to the general plan, but I'm also a believer in having wisdom to understand a couple of things. And those things are, one, that our laws are ever changing. We have assembly bills, Senate bills that constantly change that require us to amend and adapt. And so I believe in, one, big vision is smart growth, understanding that means that we follow the general plan, knowing that we have to bend and amend our laws in accordance with what is currently changing in our ever-growing economy, with everything that's changing in our laws. Additionally, for me, what I bring to the table, my name means to reconcile differences. That's what Patisha means. And so I want to live up to what my name means and to reconcile the differences. We're all here, we sit at city council meetings, and it's not to, my goal is never to poke fingers, but I think that we need to come together to reconcile the difference between council and staff and our city to be transparent, to be civil, to have civility, and to just be ethical for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you for whomever submitted this question. Possibly will be my favorite question of the evening. And the reason being is because as city council members, we always have to keep in mind, do not vote just for today, but vote for the future and have that vision, how our decision today will impact us in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20. So I really believe that influencing good decisions and having all the information possible, it leads to good decisions from us. How do I see Brentwood in 10 years? I want to see maintaining its urban limit line that we have it established today. I want to see our general plan fulfilled at 100% within the existing city limit today. I want to see that our upzoning trend stops and we stick to the general plan. And also I want to see a very clear shift from relying on developers' fees and actually having a thriving economy that really brings a viable revenue stream to our city budget. So that's really my vision, and I hope I get a chance to fulfill it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess you're all going to be shocked, but my 10-year plan would be public safety, right? I'm just kidding. I do agree that the Brentwood Police Department needs to be 100% staffed, but at 100% with, I think, max being 76 police officers right now, the number has to grow. It's not maxing out at 76, which is what they're authorized right now. It's making that police department a little bit larger and fully staffing it, like Braden had discussed, with drawing in really good police officers from other agencies. Now, it's not just the police department, it's the fire department. We have one fire station in the city of Brentwood, and that's horrible. That's ridiculous for a city this size. Now, Contra Costa County Fire has just recently taken over from East County Fire. There are the plans to build 2 new fire stations here in town, one off of O'Hara and one downtown, but that needs to get moving, and it needs to get moving quickly. Along with the fire department being fully staffed, we need to put paramedics on those engines. We have one of the largest retirement communities in Northern California and we're not servicing them correctly with what they need, which is our help. So that's my goal, my 10-year goal, and I'm sure it will continue to grow.
Thank you.
So my vision, 10-year vision, would be, of course, smart growth, safe water, preserving the farmland, youth activities. I keep continuing to say that we need to give our children something to do. We need to make sure that they prosper in life. And businesses, we need to attract businesses, whether that be, I just had a discussion with somebody today about microloans to start businesses, to give them that extra hand, as well as grants, continuing to make the city safe. I really like your vision about the fire department. That was great. I had spoke about boots on the ground, so an arborist division. I quickly just went over to somebody and asked if we could have that division, if it would save the city of Brentwood money, because I know that we contract a lot of our services. Honestly, and I want to bring back the Corn Fest. That's a 10-year plan. As little as that sounds, that's the one thing when I go out and I speak to people, they just say, if you could do anything, could you bring the Corn Fest in? And if I could do that in 10 years, that would, in the following year, that would be great. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Actually, the next question will be for Holly. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, question number 2. If elected, what will you commit to do to ensure city council meetings are conducted with more civility and respect for fellow council members and city staff for more productive meetings?
Thank you. Okay, this is huge. So we can't continue to. PA1 is a perfect example, and we need to come together as one. I kept watching the video over and over and over again, and staff is saying there are certain people on city council that's asking for 100%, but staff has recommended for HCV guidelines that we can only go at 80%. So my whole thing is if that's the guidelines and staff is directing you and you're still asking to go over those guidelines, then that's why these meetings continue to go and go. Basically, there's been 8 urgent ordinances that have cost Brentwood $40,000, and that's the first time that this has happened. So it didn't happen from 2018 to 2022, so I believe that there needs to be some positivity, some reasoning, and we need to come together. We need to stop swaying off topic, and we need to strategize. And all in all, if we can get this done, then it's going to save the taxpayers money. So that's my vision.
Thank you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Oh no, I think I got it. Thanks.
Perfect.
So it's pretty simple. Having worked in a team environment over 30 plus years, the easiest way to get city council working together towards the same goal is to create a team as opposed to create a bunch of opponents. It seems like from watching city council, there's conflict going on between members that should be working towards a common goal. And the common goal is what we as voters have actually asked people to do for us. So I don't understand how that becomes an argument between two council members or fighting with staff. Now, the easiest way I can understand putting a team together isn't going to work for city council because there are all kinds of ordinances like the Brown Act and all kinds of things. We can't have barbecues over at somebody's house and get together. But we need to agree that our staff is either giving us good recommendations, sending us information correctly, or maybe we need to look for new staff. It can't be that hard that I have to be able to trust that the people that Holly was mentioning, the city manager, or that our staff members are actually giving us the information we're supposed to get, and then we can just move forward with that. If they're not doing that, then maybe it's time to look for new staff members, or start trusting the ones we have.
Thank you.
Great answers so far, and I'm really sorry that all the city council meetings that you've been observing come across as a very combative or even a war zone at some point. I've seen the social media going on and on and on, but what we're asked as city council members is to lead. And in order to lead is to make the tough decisions. As Tony mentioned, we have to be a team, collaborate, really have conversations as opposed to fighting with each other, which, conflict comes from somewhere and somehow. So we need to understand all those fine lines and all those nuances where the conflict comes from. I know from business world that if I don't have complete information, I cannot make a good decision. On top of that, if I don't trust the people who provide that information to me, I have to put additional work in, and we know that today our dedicated city council members are spending endless hours doing their own research because the data is contradicts between meetings, sessions, and so on, or is not complete. So we need to find those points that create this conflict and work as a team for the future.
Thank you.
So this question is one of the ones that is near and dear to my heart, only because I really believe in civility and I believe in professionalism. And I absolutely agree with a lot of the comments that were said here today, but I think accountability needs to be had at both a council level and an employment level. Just as a witness to many of the council meetings, I think from my seat is that it's imperative that I show up researched, well-versed, understood, and just sitting back watching some of the meetings, I sat in the seat of attorney, which you elect me to be a council member, I wouldn't be giving legal advice, but I have a clear understanding of laws. I have an understanding of the HCD, which last week I felt like people were not as versed, and they were not last week, but at a couple last meetings, the council did not get all the information that they needed. And so I think there's also accountability on staff's part. But if we treat people like we don't trust them, we will have adversarial situations. I think there's a way professionally in business that we can talk to people to figure out how can we, without violating the Brown Act, how do we get to this point where we can work cohesively towards the same goals? We have the same goals. And all of our goals, again, I'll keep talking about that general plan, those 7 items that we all have the same goals, both staff and council. So I think that's it, civility and professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you repeat the question, please, to make sure I heard it right?
If elected, what will you commit to do to ensure city council meetings are conducted with more civility and respect for fellow council members and city staff for more productive meetings?
So I played varsity football right here at this school, so I know what it's like to be on a team. During the school day, we're arguing politics and yell at each other about whatever's going on. But when it's game time, we pull our heads out of our rear ends and work together as a team for one common goal, and that's to win. And in this situation, I know you're shocked. And in this situation, the one common goal is to provide for our residents of the city. Now, when you veer away and you, I don't know, make a motion to censure somebody on the council, I think that's quite unprofessional. And when you violate council policy as it is, that just adds on to it. Trust in the city staff. These guys are professionals. They have the degrees for this kind of thing. They know I think they know a thing or two what they're doing if they got those degrees. Listen to the city staff. Follow their guidance, because they're not giving you guidance so the city can fail. They're giving you guidance so we can succeed and build each other up as a city. And I think, I really it blew my mind, but we can talk about that later. But we just have to come together as a team. At the end of the day, the one goal is to win. You want to see a W on the board. You want to win for your city and for your people. And that's what I'll bring to the council, I guarantee it.
Thank you.
I have one word I want to start off with, is unity. When you're unified, it doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. But we are walking hand in hand, because we have one common goal, is to make Brentwood, continue making it a great city to live in. There's so many small things that, policies and laws and nitpicking on whatever it is, we might disagree on. But let's come together in one common goal, and let's make Brentwood a great city to live in. Let's make Brentwood a great place that people live in, to start a business in, to raise a family in. And, when it comes to the city council and city staff, we're all different parts. It's like a full body. Some of us are the arms, some of us are the feet, some of us are the ears, some of us are the mouth, some of us can talk better, some of us can write better, some of us can wave our hands in the air better. So let's come together and unify each other as a body, as a city council, as a city staff, and let's make Brentwood great again. Because it feels like we're going down a rabbit hole, down a way that we don't want to be. And let's not do that. Let's put our ego aside, and let's do the hard work.
Thank you. The next question will be for Braden. We'll begin with him. 3 years ago, Brentwood voters were asked to consider Measure L, which would have annexed to the city of Brentwood an area on Balfour adjacent to Shadow Lakes. Please talk about why you supported or opposed Measure L.
Well, I think if you looked really at the facts, Measure L would have gotten defeated anyway. Even if you were a toddler on the council, it would have gotten defeated anyway. It was not smart for the city going across the zoning. I think all the people of Cynthiana I know fought Measure L real hard, and they got it done. So I applaud them and all that. I don't want to take anything away from them, but it was good that they got defeated. And I'm glad that current members of the council and Cynthiana fought hard for that. I didn't think it was very smart. I'm glad it got knocked down.
Thank you.
So for this question for Measure L, we're still talking about Measure L. 10,000 voters decided not to vote for Measure L, while 4,000 voters thought it was good. So I think for Measure L, for me, it was defeated, like Brandon said. It wasn't presented adequately. When people put measures together, I don't think it was and it wasn't good for Brentwood at the time. It's not good at all. So no, Measure L, I'm boggled by why we still talk about it, because it already got voted and defeated, and that's the long and short of it.
Thank you.
Measure L. That was a historical point in Brentwood history. It proved that we are united in this city and we have common goals here, and we're going for it. To defeat such a measure with very limited budget, going $20,000 against millions of dollars that were poured in from the other side, shows that it was just not the right thing for us. And that was what unified us and helped us defeat this measure. The main reason I was opposed to it is because it just bypassed general plan. That area is currently, agricultural area, and that's part of our Brentwood heritage. So that played a big role in the decision making as well. But when someone tells you that, oh, you have planned for 500 homes here, and a developer comes in and asks you to build 3 times that, that's a big no-no. And I hope we'll follow that trend and we keep it up in maintaining our general plan and keep our local control in place, and also our unity in Brentwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more with what Cynthiana said, that it actually showed, the Measure L showed that Brentwood can come together, and it's not necessarily all about how much money we're going to throw at a project or at a problem. It's, we care about the city of Brentwood. We care about what's going to happen to the communities we live in, and can we support that kind of growth at that time. Without saying, it showed that Brentwood is Brentwood strong. And there's nothing else we can say about it. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I'm happy Measure L didn't pass, and one of the reasons for me was schools are already impacted. My son, we see schools that have 20, 30 kids in each classroom. So there would be a huge repercussion for that. I'm happy that we came together as a community and we voted that down. Like I continue to say, we need to preserve that farmland. We need to make sure that we have enough water and that we have safe water. I'm just really happy that our residents came out and voted, and that was turned down.
Thank you. Mark?
Well, I guess I'm going away from the pack. I could make a political speech right now about it, but for me at the time, I voted for Measure L to not pass. I mean, not what they were saying. For my reasons was, a lot of development increase. I know infrastructure was a big deal. I know fire was a big deal. I know schools was a big deal. But also you think about, potentially Antioch coming in, maybe annexing into their city, and then we have the issue of their traffic and their crimes and all this. So at that time, when it was going in for the vote, I voted for it to expand the urban limit line. If that's going to hurt me, if that's going to not hurt me, but that's my human answer. I want to be honest with all my questions and answers. And I'm only human. Maybe I didn't have all the facts, but I had the facts that I needed to make the vote I needed to make at that time. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, we'll start with Patanisha. With the substantial growth in the city of Brentwood and having knowledge of the difficulty of recruiting and retaining law enforcement officers, do you support or oppose increasing the city's budget for public safety? Please tell us why and how you would achieve that.
I think I align with Tony so much as a pro tem judge who sits and serves on the bench for traffic. On the bench, I get to see, unfortunately, the number of people who are violating our speeding laws, especially on that Highway 4 corridor, Sand Creek, people violating 45 miles per hour and putting a lot of our families, our children, and themselves in an unsafe position. So I absolutely support us expanding budgets to increase. I believe we also need to support our law enforcement with the right equipment that they need. And I also think we need to create substations. In addition to that, I think it is doing a disservice to our citizens when we don't have adequate ambulatory services as well as fire. So I absolutely do believe that we do need to do what we need to. We have a floor in our budget that's at 30%, which is great compared to many other cities. And I think we have the amount of money that we need to support law enforcement officers. I know that if you look in Brentwood, the majority of our money goes there, and why wouldn't it? They keep us safe, they protect us. We can all sleep at night knowing that we are all protected in our city. So I absolutely support. Thank you.
Thank you.
unanimous vote here that we all support our police department. I've been working with our Brentwood PD on various issues, and they've always been responsive, and they never complain about not having the right resources. However, I do believe the past councils have been very supportive and making budget adjustments as needed to fulfill any gaps for and provide additional equipment or support needed for our Brentwood PD, and I definitely intend to follow that line and fully support our Brentwood PD. I do think with growth, we have to expand our force, and that calls even more so for future economic development, strong economic development that will really fuel our revenue stream to our city budget to be able to support additional police officers.
Thank you.
Well, I think I already answered the question. Maybe 3 times already. But I'm gonna change gears just a little bit and see if this is gonna make sense to you. I agree our police department has to grow. I agree that we need to spend more money for that police department. Where is that money gonna come from? Is bringing in businesses into Brentwood. Bringing businesses, large businesses up into the PA1 project that are gonna support more tax base so that we can hire more police officers and pay more firefighters and pay for more paramedics and all of that. That's all great. Everybody agrees. I've already answered the question for the 3rd time. How about if we start supporting our police department, the officers that are already here? We're looking at a country that 2 years ago was looking at defunding police departments, was looking at asking police departments to become smaller. And being a police officer, I saw the productivity of very good police officers go down during that time. Why? Because they have to feed their families. They have to have a job, they have to be able to go out and do their job, and we have to support them so that they know they can do it with our support. If there's a bad policeman out there, put him in jail and move on. If there's not, support the law enforcement that we have.
Thank you.
I'm excited that we all kind of agree on the whole police officer thing. One of the things that I want to bring up is of course, I believe that we need more resources for that, specifically resource officers. And I think when Tony was explaining about the defund the police, when I went to school, we had a resource officer that came to our elementary school, was dedicated to the kids, and I don't see that. In fact, there's not enough. I believe I spoke to one the other day, and he said he's the only resource officer for 5 schools. So we have to engage those kids at an early age, give them a dedicated resource officer, and let them know that police officers are good, and that like my resource officer used to play basketball with us, and we were so excited when he came. So I think giving the kids that resource officer, and the staff and everything around that would be amazing.
Thank you.
Well, might be the shortest answer. And I think we come in an anonymous vote that we all agree with funding our police officers 110%, and even our resource officers. I think we need more of those in our school because they make an impact on our kids and for safety and for the kids to look up to. We need better role models for our kids. Some of our kids don't have father figures. And I think someone like a police officer and someone who's in law enforcement, they make very good role models for our kids. And so I think we need to continue seeing ways where we can increase ways to fund our police department and increase and overstaff.
Thank you. Braden?
better conditions, better resources, and just be a voice for the department when I'm on council. And Tony over here, he's endorsed by the Police Officers Association for Brentwood. I'm still in talks with them right now, but we have $315 million in our budget for the city. 30% of that is going to the 5th beat that's coming to Brentwood. I think that's great. I think the more funding we have, the better. I think it was crazy to even want to defund the police. I'll paraphrase a quote from Senator John Kennedy. He said, if you wanted to defund the police, you know who you could call? Call a crackhead. It plays so well because you can't want to defund the police and then call them and try to help them save you. It's funny, I know, professionalism, right? So what I want to do is continue to be that voice for our department, continue to fund them, and I will always, and I always have, always will, defend it and support the Brentwood Police Department no matter what. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question will be for Cienciano. All right. The upcoming election will include voting on Measure Q, which protects parks and open space. Do you support or oppose Measure Q? Please tell us why.
I am one of the signers of Measure Q. The reason I put my name on it is because I strongly believe in it. And it goes back to my dedication to respect and protect our open spaces. And this particular measure will bring a layer of protection to keep what attracts people to Brentwood. Every time you ask someone, why did you move here? It's for all the open space we have, all the parks, the facilities that encourage our families to be healthy, to have a very balanced way of life, and this being a very important a factor in our high level of quality of life. So the underline for this, it comes again from general plan and local control. What happens today with the legal environment at state level, a developer could come over and say, I'm going to further develop this park. And this will give us the opportunity as voters to say, yes, we want to give up this open space. No, we don't want to give it to a developer. And I'm not saying development is bad, but we need our open spaces, again, to maintain our quality of life and a factor that attracts
Thank you,
better people here.
Thank you.
I support Measure Q. I think the Open Space Initiative is an awesome way of stating just what Cienciano started talking about. One of the reasons I came out to Brentwood was originally the U-pick, cherry picking, and things like that. Keeping that alive is surrounding Brentwood, and that's on the outer parts of Brentwood. But within the city itself, the parks, keeping the parks open. Nobody moved to Brentwood to live in a concrete jungle. They want to live in a space where we can go out and maybe play golf if there's a golf course around. Maybe go to the park if that's what you want to do with your kids, or take a nice long walk along the Marsh Creek Trail, and without having to worry about whether it's going to be there next year because some developer wants to come in and build a house right on top of it. Now, I'm not against growth. I'm not against the city of Brentwood growing. The plan is another 20 to 25,000 more people in Brentwood, and we're going to be at the limit anyway. So it's going to grow, but let's keep the space open that we have designated as open space, and let us live in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I do not support Measure Q, and we had talked about, or we spoke about city council not being able to come to a conclusion, and was one example. City council needed to come to a conclusion, but instead passed that to the voters, costing Brentwood a ton of money. I think that this wasn't planned as well as it should have been, so we need to look at the long term. What does that mean for cost in landscape, as well as, so I believe there's 197 parcels in that, and so all of those parcels, if something needs to be done, has to go to a vote. So I, in my opinion, believe that that was poor planning, and that council should have came to a decision when they did not. So I do like open space, I like farmland, but in this particular instance, I believe this was poor planning.
Probably not by popular decision. I did not support Measure Q. A few things in there. I believe it's an acre or more is based on the open space, and I know there's a lot of spaces within Brentwood that, just like Shadow Lakes and Generation, there were golf courses, and then of course they closed down and people bought houses that were on golf courses. And who wants to lose their golf course view? And that's terrible. And it would be really cool if someone could come in there and take back those golf courses and make them golf courses again. But there's too many things within Measure Q that I just can't support it fully. There's some things that are great, but I don't want to just be half in. I want to be fully in. And so anything on the city council that I'm not fully supportive of, I not fully understand, I don't fully think is right, I'm not going to be on that side. I want to be 100% or no.
Measure Q is a tricky one. So obviously, I think open space is great. Brentwood is known for its farmland and all that. But I think to put it on the ballot to begin with was a waste of money. We elected members of the council to come to decisions, and I think it was just kind of a waste to give it a go back to the people. I spoke with members of our city staff regarding Measure Q. Turns out the measure doesn't preclude us from the state or federal law, obviously. So the federal or state law would change, then we'd have to follow it regardless of the measure passing, and it would supersede the local measure. So what that means is the state can change the law, and they can come in and they can build whatever they want, whether we have the measure, whether the measure passed or not. So what do we do? How do we continue from there? We build what the residents of Brentwood want was beneficial for the community. I'm not saying we take up all the farmland, but what's designated as not farmland, we need to build there. Obviously keep parks, but build what the residents want was beneficial for the community, and not a whole bunch of things that the city doesn't want or that the city doesn't need. So I'm opposed to Measure Q, but I love open space. But it's really a tricky measure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a supporter of Measure Q. I tell everybody when I'm out there canvassing, if you've seen the squad of 30 of us out there, I say vote for me and vote for BS for Measure Q. I do believe in the protection of our open spaces, and it's one of the reasons that attracted me to Brentwood. It's we're so wonderfully blessed to have agriculture being one of the things that brought me here, and these spaces are so beautiful because of the agriculture and all of the work of the farm workers. But I think that citizens are smart, and I think that people misunderstand Measure Q. It doesn't take votes away from city council. It actually puts parameters by which city council can make decisions. And so I think absolutely, let's allow voters to make decisions on the spaces, which is their backyard, which is their front yard. We have assembly bills in place right now that allow for buildings to be brought up to second levels, which will block these open spaces for many of the people that have worked in these areas. And so if we can protect some of the open spaces and allow the voters to make those decisions, I wholeheartedly support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is going to be for Tony. And this is our last question. Affordable housing is a hot topic in our city and state. What's your vision for affordable housing in Brentwood?
Brentwood has always been and has always supported affordable housing. Part of that being so that we can get the funding from the state and the federal governments. But affordable housing being designed the way it has been put in Brentwood makes perfect sense. It's not a particular neighborhood that's set apart from anywhere else. It's not separated from any other part of Brentwood. It's mixed within the city of Brentwood. And that's the idea behind bringing everyone together as a community. I've always been, and have used the term many, many times, that I'm always willing to give somebody a hand up, but not necessarily a hand out. If they're willing to work for it and they want to make themselves better, moving into affordable housing, taking care of and growing their family, being able to raise a family in a wonderful community like Brentwood would be amazing. Thank you.
Yes. Affordable housing is a hot topic in our city and state. What's your vision for affordable housing in Brentwood?
So I really respect what the city of Brentwood has done with affordable housing. Like Tony was saying, mixing in affordable housing in each kind of development. I'm all for, there's certain programs that will allow like a single mom with a child to move into a certain home. So I support what's been going on right now and how the city council and developers, not developers, but the planning commission has kind of all intertwined that. So I think all is well in that aspect.
It's already really expensive to live in the Bay Area. And with affordable housing, it really helps, families or new, young adults or young couples who quite don't have enough money to put a down payment on a house or even to rent, if they qualify for affordable housing. So I think, within how the city is developing and placing their affordable housing in certain areas or within, not just all one area, but they spread it out. So it doesn't seem like, it's all just one little area. That's well planned. And I'm for it. I'm all for that. Let's continue trying to do our best to allow people to afford a house and afford to live and not have to move out of the state. And let's keep people in California. Let's keep people in Brentwood because it's a great state. It's a great city.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what the council's doing with affordable housing is good now. People fall on hard times or people need a little pickup. And spreading it out throughout the city is good. It shows unity in our city, so it's not designated for one area. Although I do want to keep it at state requirements and not go over that because too much is too much. And I've spoken with many residents about that issue that the affordable housing and the housing is an issue to some residents. I think right now where it's at is good. We can always, and my job when I get there is to continue to build from it and continue to move forward. There's always going to be things that need to be adjusted. And like I said, keeping it at what's required by the state and not go over that is a good idea.
Thank you.
So this topic is near and dear to my heart. I'm really privileged to have my mother here. She's recording her only child, and we were the product of having housing. My mother worked very diligently in the courts and then in law enforcement, and it was because we had those opportunities that I was able to be who I am today. And so I owe all of that, and I'm so grateful for her. But one of the things that I am for affordable housing is because we need to bridge the gap between the inequity gaps in pay. Until we do that, we need affordable housing. It's not a handout, it's not anything like that. It's leveling the playing field so that everybody has access to resources. resources. The other thing that I want to talk about is we have this housing element update that we have right now before City Council. Everyone, please, if you can, go ahead on City Council and take a look. There was an update on August 30th of the housing element, and it talks about all of the percentages and the numbers that we need for affordable housing. And so I wholeheartedly support it. I didn't support the Bluebird Project, Village Project, which I know you also didn't, and thank you. Because I think it was, while it was wonderful and the thought was great, it wasn't well thought out, it wasn't well placed. And it's tried to deal with homelessness too, which is a county-wide, which is a statewide, which is a countrywide issue that we all have to work on.
Thank you.
I'm glad this topic also came up, and thank you for whoever submitted the question. I am very excited that current City Council decided to really look at the percentage that we require the developers to produce affordable housing based on for any future applications coming in. It is currently at 13%. We're still doing a catch-up because the past City Councils decided to keep it at a very, very low percentage, possibly serving special interest. I'm not going to discuss their motives for that. But what I would like to see it in the future, it possibly be a little higher percentage. And the reason why I think it will work really well for Brentwood is because we are promoting the inclusionary affordable housing concept that will give us the opportunity to bring and accommodate all of our existing community members and help them move into a homeownership. And statistics and all the studies show that people who are part of the affordable housing programs, they show homeowner pride. They take care of their properties, and they are very solid members of our communities. So I really encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our questions. Each of you now have the opportunity to provide us with a closing statement. You will have 2 minutes each. We will start with Holly.
You know, I just want to thank everybody for the time, and I posted my phone number so everybody has it because I want to make sure that I'm available to its residents. I want to kind of veer off topic of me, but I just wanted to say to everybody up here, you know, this has been such an amazing experience, and I've spoke to 90% of you. It has been great. I think I talked to most of you at least once a week, and it has been a real fair and clean race, and whoever may win or not win, I have to say that I have made lifelong friends. I thoroughly enjoy the community. I love it. You know, all I can say is that this is in God's hands. And so God will lead us in the way that we need to go. And that's about it. I just wanted to thank everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, I'm Tony Orleans, and I'm running for City Council in District 4. Why should you, first of all, I want to thank the Brentwood Press and the Chamber for putting this together, giving all of you the opportunity to come, and thank you for being here, to get to know us, to meet us, and decide, make an informed decision. Some of you are not going to like the answers I gave, and I understand that, but that's who I am. And this is your opportunity to find out who we are. So thank you so much for taking all your time and coming out and doing that with us. But why do I want you to vote for Tony Orleans for City Council? I think I can do the best job. Now, I'm not going to argue with Holly. We have become friends, and we do talk quite frequently. But I think I can do a job that is going to continue to serve my community and take care of Brentwood and make Brentwood safe for not only my granddaughter that I get to babysit 2 or 3 days a week, but for your grandkids and for your grandkids' kids. And that's truly the goal of any government, is to take care of the people that are coming behind us. Previous councils have done what they could to make Brentwood as great as it is. Now it's our job to take the reins, keep it going, and make Brentwood a wonderful place for all of us to live. I'm getting ready to retire out of law enforcement. I'm not going to be a police officer anymore after December 16th. I will dedicate my full time to Brentwood City Council and make Brentwood a wonderful place for all of you to live. Thank you.
Great. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you all candidates for showing courage to throw your hat into the ring. I think this is a very challenging race. It's a very challenging task to convince someone that you're the best. And really talking about yourself, it's one of the hardest things that a human being can do. But again, my name is Cynthia Todor. I am running to win the City Council seat for District 2. You saw me around the city distributing flyers, talking to residents at Farmers Market, speaking at planning and city council meetings, as well as communicating online on major issues. My active involvement contributed to defeating several bad projects on our community, attempts to move urban limit line, Measure F in 2010 and Measure L 2019, Bluebird Village application just recently this year, Bridal Gate project, oil and gas drilling application, practically in people's backyards here in Brentwood, rainflow car wash application extension at O'Hara and Sand Creek, and many, many other projects. My strong analytical background will help me research and understand issues and assess impact on our city and its residents. Also, database decision-making skills that I use in my professional life will support making the best choices that lead to full benefits for our community, and will help me focus on critical areas such as smart growth and development, make responsible financial decisions while paying local jobs, maintain and improve communication and transparency with the community. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. Based on what you heard tonight, I hope you will truly consider voting for me on November 8th. My name is Cynthia Todor, and I am your candidate for Brentwood City Council District 2. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I apologize, my alarm went off because I'm a real person. My alarm was for 7 p.m. because every day at 7 p.m. I pray with my husband. And I have 3 beautiful children in the audience right now, Kayla, Justice, and Aiden, one son, Sean, at college. And not only am I a mother, a wife, an attorney, pro tem judge, I'm a resident of the city, and it's imperative to me that I preserve the integrity of this city and everything that brought me to the city. The number one guiding principle of our general plan is to protect Brentwood families' oriented environment and character and sense of community. And that's what I would commit on city council, committing to that preservation. How would I do that? One, I think it is imperative, especially with the PA1 project, that we bring high-profile employers, diverse employers who commit to hiring our people in this city to the city of Brentwood, so we can stop being such a commuter city. I'm tired of hearing us be a commuter city. The other thing is that I think agriculture has been so big that we need to provide incentives not only to those businesses but to farmers to provide opportunities, tax breaks, and other incentives that the state provides, but if they don't, we need to provide it at the city level. And I think we have a wonderful East Contra Costa County Museum, but I really would love to see us have an agricultural museum because it is so big in our city. Agriculture, you know, our farm families are why we're here. The other thing that I would want to talk about is economic growth and development. And how we get there is first to bring back cohesion on our city council, to remember the similar goals that we all want to bring back, and to be civil, to bring civility. And how do we do that? I think it's all of us taking a seat at the table to understand that we have the same goals and the same objectives, and that's what I would do. Patanisha Davis Pearson, I'm the reconciler of difference, and I'm a better candidate for a better Brentwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Braden Heine, running for City Council in District 2. I'm not running for a political office. I'm running for a leadership position for the people of Brentwood with their interests and only their interests at heart. My main focus is keeping Brentwood the safe, family-friendly community that it was when we moved here 13 years ago. Focus on encouraging our residents to shop locally and build up our economy back from these unprecedented times. Improve fire and police services as well, and smart growth, real smart growth for this generation and the future generations to come. I'm really focused on reaching out to all members of the community, regardless of background or anything like that. I want to bring high-paying jobs into Brentwood. I think PA1 is a great first step in that. Improve our transportation in the city. We've heard for years and years, and the commute in Brentwood. That's what I want to do. I want to bring high-paying jobs here so people can work where they live, shop where they live, eat where they live, and cut back on having to commute 2.5 hours and pay a $7 bridge toll and pay for this very expensive gasoline. I want to bring more youth services to the city. As a younger man myself, in the city of Brentwood doesn't have very many things in the city for the younger population. So I want to work with our city staff with that, and of course trusting the greatest city staff in Northern California. And so on November 8th, when you fill out that ballot, they save the best for last on that ballot, very bottom. It'll be Braden Heine, and go ahead and check that box. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Mark Duke, running for City Council of Brentwood District 2. I'm a son, I'm a grandson, I'm a husband. I have 4 generations of my family living in Brentwood right now. We came to Brentwood on purpose. It wasn't by accident. We moved from Fremont to come here to plant a church to invest in people's lives. I sweat, I bleed, I cry, I hurt, just like you. I'm a person, I'm a human. And I hope that we can come together, or I can come into the city council and put some heart into it, put some sweat, and put some tears. We need to get into the nitty-gritty and really focus on what we need to get done in the city. And so I hope and I pray that I can get your support, or whoever great candidate you support, just get out and vote. So vote Mark Duke, City Council at District 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give everyone a hand. Thank you all very much. We appreciate everyone's civic engagement. I'm going to hand it over to Greg.
All right. Let's keep it going one more time for our amazing candidates. Now you can cheer and one of the things about, the democratic process that we have in America is a pretty amazing thing. But it only works if everybody participates. So I want you to go home with this message and to tell your friends, go vote. And if you're not registered to vote, find them and get them registered, because that's what makes America great, is the fact that we have the ability to vote. Yeah, that's America is a great place. And so is Brentwood. So go vote. And so we have the facility till 8 o'clock. So at this point, I would like to say that we really didn't set up a thing to do questions from the audience, but if the candidates can stay for a few more minutes, we can do some more meeting and greeting and have an opportunity to personally talk to some of the candidates, if that's okay, if you guys don't mind. And like I said, at one point, I'm going to say you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But we do need to be out by 8 o'clock. So again, thank you all for coming. To the people watching us live, hopefully that all worked for you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank our moderator one more time for Faye Malone. Thank you so much. And again, the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce, we got some of the board members here. Wave your hands, Chamber board members. We have a bunch of the Brentwood press staff in the back up there making all the technology work. Thank you. We have our Liberty or Heritage student up there running the sound. Brayden, thank you, Brayden. And so candidates, if you want to go make some friends out front, we'll do that. Thank you.
Okay.